When we are working with Raspberry Pi, sometimes we will need to connect to a Raspberry Pi from another device. And this is very important for remote control and management. And in this video, I'll be showing you the easiest way to do that. In the last video, we set up some configurations for the Raspberry Pi. We did this before burning the image to the micro SD card, right? We entered our Wi-Fi name and password. We also set a host name. Then we created a username and password as well. The username was root set. This is all very important. These steps are key for connecting to the Raspberry Pi remotely. And this is because after you set this up and power on the Pi, it will automatically connect to a Wi-Fi network, and this happens even if you don't connect a monitor, keyboard or a mouse. The system boots up, connect to the Wi-Fi and set the SSH enabled. We can connect to it remotely via SSH or VNC even without a monitor, keyboard and a mouse. But just to show you how things work, I will be using a monitor, keyboard as well as a mouse. Now the Raspberry Pi is up and running. If you look up at the top right, you can see it's connected to our Wi-Fi network. Now let's open the terminal to check the hostname and the IP address. You can see the prompt is already rootset at rootset. This means the username is rootset and the host is also rootset. Now let's check the IP address on our local network. And here we can see it's 192.168.1.134. To connect to it remotely, we need to be sure that the SSH service is running. And we can make sure with this command service SSH status. And here we can see it is active, up and running. If it's not, you need to enable it. And just in case, if you forget your password that you set in the previous step, you can change it here. Simply type sudo password rootset, that is the username. Then enter the new password and then type it again to confirm. Now the password is updated. So now we have a Raspberry Pi up and running with a username and a password connected to a Wi-Fi network with an IP address and SSH service enabled. Now let's go to our second computer. Okay guys, now I am on my MacBook. To connect to a Raspberry Pi, the command is ssh space username at IP address. So our username is rootset. The command is rootset at the IP address. Next, enter the user's password. And now we are inside the Raspberry Pi. Now let's confirm it by checking the IP address and hostname. Okay, the hostname is rootset and the IP address, oops, for a moment I thought it was Windows. Okay, let me try again. And the IP address is 192.168.1.134. So this is the Pi's IP and not my MacBook's IP address. So we are now inside the Raspberry Pi. One problem with SSH is that it has no graphical user interface. To get a graphical interface, we need to enable a service called VNC. One way to do this is to click the Raspberry Pi icon, go to Preferences and then Raspberry Pi Configuration. This will open up a tool called Raspberry Pi Config. And here in this tool, you can change many settings of your Raspberry Pi. You can change the system, display or interface settings. To enable the VNC, we need to go to Interfaces tab on top and enable the VNC button. You can enable other interfaces if you need them, but VNC must be enabled for us to access the GUI via the VNC tool. Then we can simply press the OK button. When you do that, you will get a message about rebooting. For the changes to take effect, we need to reboot our Raspberry Pi. So simply click on the Yes button and the Raspberry Pi will restart. After it reboots, a new icon will appear on the top right. It's the icon for the VNC remote connection tool. It will show the system's IP address and have some instructions on how to connect. Now, let's go back to the MacBook. On this computer, we need to download and install an app called Real VNC Viewer. So once you open it, you will need to go through the terms and conditions and everything. And a window like this will open up. And at the top, simply enter the IP address of the Raspberry Pi. And when you press enter, a prompt will ask for the username and the password. First press continue button and in the prompt enter the Raspberry Pi username, which is rootset, and the password that we set earlier. And make sure it is correct and simply press OK button. If all the details you entered are correct, you will be able to access the Raspberry Pi's graphical user interface. You will see the main desktop of the Pi and you can use your mouse to access it. To help you understand, I will show a small video on the left of the actual Raspberry Pi monitor, and the main video will be the screen recording from my Mac. Okay, as you can see here, I am controlling the Raspberry Pi from my MacBook. So this is how we do it. We use SSH to access the Raspberry Pi's command line interface, and we use VNC to control the Raspberry Pi's graphical interface remotely. If you have any doubts, don't hesitate to ask in the comments down below. And to see more useful videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.